For years, globalization was something discussed behind closed doors and feared by the public. But as technology persists, we're seeing a change. Microsoft's decision to utilize the global system isn't just about saving a few dollars. It's about creating the ultimate company. Today we're going to be talking about globalization and how it creates a win-win for everybody. Mr. Gates, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Robin.
Let me just ask you why I'm here. When you ship jobs overseas, the people see it as a loss for our economy. So what is it that you're seeing that we're not?
We see it as a way to unlock more money and grow the company faster. It not only increases the convenience for the consumer and people, but hiring in other countries allows us to have lower wages while still being locally competitive.
And where does that unlocked money go?
A lot of it goes into research and new projects. If we spent all of our money on expensive labor here, it would be harder for us to compete with other companies around the world. By saving money, we can expand the company and create more advanced jobs and leadership positions in the United States.
Thank you. Now here I'm going to talk about the perspective of globalization from a consumer. And as it turns out, I'm that consumer. I've realized in my highly successful life that it's powered by globalization. Look at the tools I use to produce this show. Because Microsoft utilizes a global system, this technology is cheaper and more affordable than it would have been 10 years ago. But it's not just about price, it's about convenience. Last night while working on this project, I had a technical difficulty. In a domestic system, I would have been waiting until 9 a.m. for a technician to wake up. However, I was able to connect to Arjun in India in just a few minutes. I get 24/7 support because someone, somewhere in the world is always working. Globalization isn't optional. It's the reason all my tech works when I need it to. Interview Arjun. He's halfway across the world in India. It's currently nighttime for him, and we're using a Zoom call. Nice to meet you, Arjun.
Nice to meet you too.
Arjun, in regards to globalization, the CEO mentions efficiency, but for you, it's your whole livelihood. How has Microsoft's globalization affected workers like you in India?
It has completely refined what a good job looks like. In the past, good engineers often had to leave India to find high demand work. Now the high demand work comes to us. I'm earning a competitive salary that has allowed me to buy a home and provide education for my children.
Some say this is about exploitation or cheap labor.
I disagree. It is about opportunity. I have more job options today than I've ever had in my life. Microsoft's presence has caught India up to the modern world. I'm not just a remote worker. I'm a big competitor to the global economy. This has created a massive middle class here in India that is, in turn, buying products and service back from the West. It's a global trade circle.
Lastly, I'm going to interview Mark, an employee who lost his job to Microsoft's globalization policies. Mark, your story is often one used to argue against globalization. You were in a role that was moved overseas. How do you relate with the pro-globalization argument?
If you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have hated globalization, but I had to look at the reality. My old job, manual data entry, was becoming a dead end anyways. Microsoft took the profits they made from their global expansion and funneled them back into a workforce transition fund.
So what did that look like for you, specifically?
They offered me a choice, a severance package or a fully funded scholarship to their tech academy. I chose the academy. They paid for my training in cloud security, a skill that is incredibly high demand, and I was being paid to learn at the same time. So I was able to provide for my family and maintain my standards of living.
So was the move overseas a net loss for you?
Actually, no. I'm now on a career path with a future. My new salary is significantly higher, and I'm doing work that requires actual problem solving. But moving my old job, my old repetitive tasks overseas, Microsoft had the resources to turn me into it from an unskilled worker into a specialized one. They didn't leave me behind. They moved me up the workforce chain.
The story of Microsoft's globalization isn't a story of here versus there. It's a story of progress. The CEO gets capital to innovate, the global worker gets a path to the middle class, and the domestic worker gets an opportunity to upskill into a better career. And I, the consumer, get ever-improving tech. When we stop looking at country borders and start looking at possibility, we realize globalization leads to a better world for all of us.